What's up, guys? Let's start this off a little bit different, and then I'll be right back here. I want to show this video, and then we'll be here. So, that's what we're going to be talking about. I want to hit on safety because I've seen two people get hurt this week. This was Benjamin. We'll show this video clip, but later on kind of dissect what went wrong, where it went wrong at. And so I want to just make sure this doesn't happen to you, because luckily Benjamin didn't get hurt. The other two guys did. And so both of them happened this past week. And so I want to hit on it. I want to make sure you guys are doing things and not, and I don't know what all happened, but I know that one fell off a ladder and one fell off a roof. And that is why it is important that you guys stay safe out there and you don't get hurt, right? Because when you get hurt, it does nobody any good. But before we get going here, I want to talk about the book of the week. Is again, Buy Back Your Time. I am in 75 hard right now. I have actually read, this is the first time I've probably read a book this many pages in. I'm on page 151 of actually reading a book. Normally I'm not a book reader, but I'm doing 75 hard. I'm on day, what is the day? The 16th, so I'm on day 18 of reading 10 pages a day. I am 10 pages a day, drinking a gallon of water, exercising twice a day, doing a diet. And so, but this here is the book of the week. I highly recommend you to do the book of the week, or read a book, whether it's audio or on here. Actually, during my exercises, I'm listening to the audio too. So this is one of those books that's a great book that if you haven't read it, you definitely need to make sure that you are reading it. So that is where we want to go at with this here. So again, I want to talk about safety. I know F-Bomb has sent me stuff about safety, and I'm mostly going to talk about these two guys tonight. I'll talk about one time what happened to me, and I'll talk about what happened to Benjamin, because I know what happened to Benjamin, and I want to make sure that this doesn't happen to you, because it's always fine and dandy to run a business if it is a solo entrepreneur and you are going to make the most profit when it's just you, right? You can make the most profit. You're not paying all the other crap, because a lot of times when you start having more employees, you got to pay more stuff, and the profit is not as good. And if you think, and if you don't know how to calculate your profit, you're probably wrong. And so that is why it is important instead of when you get hit by a bus, what happens when you fall off the ladder? What happens to your business? What happens to your family? Is that your sole income? And so these are things to think about, of ways that we can prevent this, right? We want to make sure if there's ways that we can prevent this happening, we want to make sure that we are preventing it from happening, because the last thing I want you to do is to get hurt or fall off a roof or fall off a ladder and get hurt. And it's not just ladders, it can be ladders for pressure washing, ladders for Christmas lights, ladders for anything that you might need a ladder for. It could be chemicals, it can be electrical shock, it can be a lot of different things, that safety that we are dealing with as a service provider. Again, it can either be ladders for pressure washing, ladders for Christmas lights, water-fed pole for pressure washing, ladder-fed pole for Christmas lights, right? It can be both, and we want to make sure that we understand how we can not let this happen. So that's what I really want to make sure you guys don't get hurt, guys, because the last thing I want you to do is get hurt and your business, and you don't have a business if it can't be running without you. So let's talk about ladders. So before we get there, we got Tiger Bless says, howdy gang. How are you doing? The little disabled guy here, 902. Big George Yost, how's he doing? What's up, you guys? Mr. Caesar. Do you know the schedule for the seminar this coming week? Friday or Thursday and Friday will be all about how to grow your Christmas light business and everything like that. And then Saturday is all permanent lights. But the Friday and Saturday is the most important part of the training for sure. Hope you're okay. Be safe, guys. We use oil-based stains, and it gets so slick out there. You're not kidding. Ladders are just as dangerous as pump-up sprayers and chemicals. Yes, they are. Stabilizers, levelers, not a rock. I might have done that. Something, one to footing it, 3 points contact, all of that out. I was shocked climbing on a roof. Who was it? I actually just seen somebody else that was climbing up, and the gutter was hot. There was power in that gutter. So you got to be careful when we're getting up on these ladders. We want to make sure that we are being safe, and that is an important key of this. So let's start this thing off here, and let's I want to start this video over again so you all can see it. And this is going to be the first video I'm going to show. And then this one happened last year or the year before, and they was doing a roof clean. I had to go back over and fix the Christmas lights because it pulled all the Christmas lights down. And so I will talk about what went right, what went wrong here, and make sure that you don't do these things, right? Because there's certain pieces of equipment that we can use that will help us from not getting hurt, and that is the goal. So once he had fallen, luckily he didn't get hurt. He didn't get hurt at all, which is a good thing. Some things that went wrong: it's raining. We're doing a roof clean. He's on stamped concrete that's on an angle, and he didn't learn from the first time that he started climbing up. He did have 2 helpers there with him at the time that this happened. Nobody was footing a ladder. Whenever we are on concrete, you should always be footing, someone should be footing that ladder, no matter what. Another thing on this here too is there was no ladder stabilizers. So there was no ladder stabilizer, which would have probably helped prevent this. Now, the next thing is his helper don't know how to foot a ladder because he's just going to put his foot on there. And the goal of this point here is if he falls again, the guy on the ground is going to get hurt. So what you want to do is you want to take 1 foot, and let's see if, let me go here and stop this here once he gets there. What you want to do is you want to take your 1 foot here, and you're going to foot it here so you're standing over here. So if this guy falls, he don't hit you, because if he falls down and hits him in the head, this guy here is going to be hurt worse than here, because at that point you're going to shove all of this down, and that is a bad day for sure. And yes, again, you got to watch a deck. Smooth like Trek, slippery deck. I lost it. Actually, yes, you did. And so you got to make sure that you don't do that also. You got to make sure that if you're on a ladder on a deck and you fall off and you break your back and you have to forgotten your phone in your pocket and you didn't have a helper or someone there with you, you have to crawl to your truck to get into your truck with a broken back, and that's not cool. And again, he was the solo owner, and his wife luckily was working, and that was all their income that they had coming in. So you have to make sure that when we're on ladders, we are being safe, because the last thing you want to do is fall off. It don't matter how much money you are talking, it will happen. So next, we have Jarrett. Jarrett this week fell off a ladder. He said he was at an end of a gutter, and he was about a foot from the end of the gutter, and it slid and fell off. He broke both legs, or the heel and everything in here, I believe it is. You can see both feet are screwed up in the heels, and he's got to have surgery on it. And he said that one has to get a plate and the other one does not, I think he said in here. So from what I understand, I'm getting a plate and a screw in my left foot, and So that is what he is getting here for this here. So I know you can't see it here, but let me scroll back here and scroll back here. So that is what he is getting here. So you've got to be careful out there and make sure that you do not fall off of a ladder. Again, if he would have probably had a stabilizer on it, it probably would have kept it from not falling over and not getting hurt. And so I don't want you guys, at this point, he does have a GoFundMe. I will put the GoFundMe. I've actually got 2 GoFundMes here. If you want to help Jared out, he is a pressure washer. I will post this in here. He asked me if he could do it, and I will post it in here so that way if you all would like to donate for him, it would definitely help him out, because this is what he's got 3 kids and this is how he's making his money. And so that is definitely something that you know. Now, I know I normally don't do this, but you know what? I need to help these guys out and do it. So the next guy that had fallen off a ladder this week and hurt himself is, and I'll show you his one here, is Patrick. Now, I don't know everything about his story, but I do know that he fell off the roof. But I do know he fell off of a cedar roof. And so this cedar roof right here was the one that I had a close call on myself. This was on July 24th, 2015, so a long time ago. We used to do a lot of cedar roofs. We would clean them, and then we would put this stain on them that had like wax and different things on it. And so on this section of the roof right here, on the actually opposite side of this right here of this picture, but on the other side, I wasn't really wanting to put a lot of bleach on this. This was one of my first or second one that I did, and I didn't want to put a lot of bleach on it. So I tried the sodium hydroxide, and I was up on this side. On the other side, it looks just like this right here, and I put sodium hydroxide on here. The problem with the sodium hydroxide is it didn't, you actually still had to use pressure to get the crap off. So when I went up here and I put the pressure on it, that sodium hydroxide was slicker than snot. And I stepped on this here, and luckily I slid and I was able to catch myself right here where the little thing is here. And so I was able to catch myself as I was kind of falling down, sliding down this drain here, or the valley, and I was able to catch myself. Now, it was only a 1-story house, luckily, but it was still high enough. I would have probably been hurt. So he was up on a cedar roof too, and so that's when I started using bleach on these things, because when you hit them with bleach, at least it will kill it and dry it off enough so that way you can do this. And so you got to be careful on cedar roofs. No, this is not the exact same roof. This is just a roof that I about fell off of in July of, this was probably 2 days before this, because it took us a day or two to clean it. So it was probably July 23rd is when I about fell off this roof. And so we have to be careful when we do this. Another thing too is a great point is be careful. Slipped on my hose a few times. So you got to make sure that you got to know where your hose is up in here and you don't step on it, because that can cause another problem of falling off of these roofs. And I don't want you guys falling off of a roof. It's not worth it. So Patrick here, he fell off. He actually, I believe the story went that he actually fell off of the roof of it. So again, if you would like to donate to Patrick, I will share his one here too, and that way you guys can donate for either one of these two, so that way you can help these guys out, because again, both of these guys can't work. I don't know what all, he's got 2 broken arms, and the other one's got 2 broken legs. So Don't do something stupid and fall off roofs. And I'm not saying that to be mean. A lot of times we do stuff that like I say, I didn't know. When I about fell off the roof for myself, I didn't know. When Benjamin fell off, the ladder was just above the gutter, and when he put his foot on it, it was enough that kicked that thing out and put him down. Luckily, his feet fell right in between the rungs, and he didn't break nothing. Right? I've had an employee hanging Christmas lights. Actually, luckily, he wasn't my employee at this time because I was already sold the business. I was still working there. And he got up on a roof that had frost on it, and he slid off of it and caught his pants, and he was hanging upside down off of the gutter. Luckily, he would only weighed about 90 or 100 pounds soaking wet, and that's the thing that saved him from falling off and probably killing himself, because he would have hit his head first, and that would have been very bad. And so I just want to make sure that, ladder safety and roof safety is very important. There's some things that you can use that will help you not hurt yourself, right? There's some things that you can use that you can do for it. So I want to just scroll in here. This is one of my resources. You can use tools for Christmas lights. I've also got it on my pressure washing one. But some things that we can use is cougar paws, right? Cougar paws will work good. They don't work so good on wood and slippery. They also don't work on ladders of keeping you from falling off. So some things that can keep you from falling off of ladders is right here, a stabilizer, right? If you use a stabilizer, it can definitely keep you from that ladder from slipping out. And so that will help that ladder from slipping out, and that will cause it. Again, as someone said, you can use a ladder leveler. Logs don't work. I've tried it. The ladder will fall over. Luckily, I wasn't on the ladder, but I climbed up the ladder with a log under it, and it fell over. So a ladder leveler works really well for you to keep the ladder straight. You can also use this, again, a stabilizer is so important to use. You can use this thing, and it will help you from falling off of roofs, and that is the goal. We don't want you to fall off of roofs. I don't want you to fall off of roofs, because falling off a roof is going to hurt. So again, ladder stabilizers work really, really good to help you from falling off a roof. Again, ladder locks work really well also. You can see that Benjamin had the little giant type ladder. And so these are a little bit harder to put the stabilizers on, but this is another thing. Pit choppers work amazing too on shingle roof. If you need, you can get the harness kit, right? You can get the Ridge Pro, put a harness kit on there, put a personal fall protection on there, and these things here can help keep you from falling off a roof. A goat can help you keep from falling off a roof. I know I'm kind of hammering this hard, but literally there's 2 people this week that have fallen off of a roof or a ladder. I don't want you to fall off of a roof. It's not worth falling off of a roof. Trust me, you do not want to fall off a roof. It's going to hurt when you do. You may not have a business. It might even kill you. So, do you know what's going to happen to you when you fall off a roof and you get hurt or die? Because what's your family going to have to do at that point? Because that is something that you have to remember to do this. I am the ladder safety Nazi on my job, doing painting all over the roofs, and we do up and down ladders. Yes. And so that is why we always want to make sure that we stay safe on roofs. Again, I want to get this in your head because I'm going to tell you something. Hospital bills for 2 broken legs or heels ain't cheap. Hospital bills for 2 broken arms ain't cheap. So, and it hurts a lot. Jared said that it hurt like no other. What was his words that he used in here? He said that, what did he say? Very painful. I've felt pain so intense. I've never felt pain so intense in my life. So don't do it. I mean, make sure that you don't get in a hurry. Make sure that you're doing things safe. Make sure that you are looking up before you set up, right? Because when you look up, you're not hitting power lines, because you hit those power lines, that can kill you. So just be careful out there, guys. That's all I'm asking you to do. I'm not telling you that you are doing anything wrong. I'm just telling you sometimes we get complacent, and that can what's going to hurt and hurt you. Hospital bills are a lot, period. You're exactly right. And so you got to be careful out there. And then you got to think about, this is why you need workers' comp if you have employees. Because if your employee did this, how much are you going to be paying out of pocket for that, right? If they don't have insurance, you're going to be the one paying it, because at that point they can sue you and they can sue the homeowner. And if they sue the homeowner, that's something else that isn't covered under your property damage a lot of times, because it's subcontracted out. And so you have to make sure that you do this. My back surgery was $140,000 in 2016. And I guarantee you it's probably triple that in 2024. I would bet that that's a $500,000 surgery right now in 2024. So if you can afford a $500,000, even if you could afford a $150,000 surgery, that's what I'm talking about, why we need to make sure we get this straight. You're right. Look up. A couple window cleaners recently died when their poles hit the line. And that's another thing, right? When you're doing Christmas lights, when you're doing water-fed pole stuff, that water-fed pole will kill you super quick. I've seen it. I've heard about it. It's not pretty. So, it can be carbon fiber, but if it's wet, it doesn't matter what kind of fiber it is that's coming down that pole, and it's going to go to ground, and you're on part of the ground, and it ain't going to be pretty. So you got to make sure that you are being safe when we are dealing with this here. So I know I'm posting on the Christmas lights and pressure washing page, because both of these have everything to do with safety, and safety is the number one important thing that you can do. So if you have any questions on pressure washing or Christmas lights, ask them down in the comments, and I want to get to answering your questions. But again, you got to stay safe, guys. It is something out there that it is not worth falling off of. Ladders are just as dangerous. Stabilizers. Washed down the house, climbed up the roof, put my bare hands on that, and it was shocked hard. Backlight was on, must been a nail on the roof touching a wire. So, that's the thing, right? This here could knock you off that ladder by being electrocuted. And he had no idea that ladder would have been grounded or was powered, right? And so you got to be careful on these ladders. It is one of those things that can definitely knock out and kick you and hurt you really bad. I've seen in construction someone put a ladder and broke both ankles. The guy on the ladder broke his nose. Yep. I like the Big Red No Bull end rubber piece upgrade for my stabilizer. More surface contacting it and grips really well versus the worthless pieces that come with it. Yeah, I like that, or the big blue ones at least, so that way it kind of protects it, because the ones that come off of it aren't very good. We only use the little giant ladders as A-frames only. Thinking about renting a towable lift for the season. I know Tim Fields always rented the one. It was like a 60-footer or 55-footer, 60-footer. That's an actual drivable one that pulls up on a trailer. That works really good for renting one for the season, because that way you can do trees and all of that kind of thing. And when it's drivable, makes it a lot easier to be able to get around the front of the house and all of that. So that's just a thought there, Nathan. He was in cardiac arrest, and I had to start doing CPR till the fire department showed up. And that's the thing. right? You don't know why this thing, you might literally have a heart attack while you're on this ladder. And what do you do at that point? That's why you want to make sure that you're footing it to stay off the side of the ladder. So when they fall down, your goal when they fall down is not to catch that person. When you're footing the ladder, that is the last thing you want to do is catch that person. You want to stand out of the way and let him hit the ground. Because here's the deal. I actually had an in-person training down in North Carolina, and he was in the military, and the guy above him got shot, and he was rappelling down, hit him in the neck, shoved all this down. The dude up there was fine. It got hit in his vest. The dude down on the bottom, all his neck stuff got messed up. So that's why it's important that that same thing can happen when someone's falling off of a ladder. So you got to make sure that you're staying safe up there. There's so many horror stories about falls and big injuries. Does it sometimes just seem not worth it? And here's the thing. That's why we got to charge what we charge, right? That's why we charge premium pricing. Because here's the deal. And especially on my Christmas light guys and my cheap pressure washing guys. If you're on a ladder or your guy is on a ladder and he falls off and hurts himself, are you going to be out of business? Or do you have the proper insurance? Are you paying for the proper insurance? So that way you do not get charged that, right? So you either pay it up front or you pay it after the part and you're going out of business. And the thing about it is they can come after your house, all your assets, everything. So don't sit there and think that, I don't need workers' comp. I don't need this stuff. Well, if you're putting someone else's life in jeopardy, then you're not a very good boss. Let's just put it that way. And if you're not getting them the safety equipment that they need because you're not making enough money, because you have decided to go cheap and not charge $8 to $12 a foot, or not charge 30 cents or 45 cents a square foot to clean roofs, then that's your fault. Because you think that, that's the thing about running a business. There's a lot of cost in it that you don't always see right away. There's cost of workers' comp. There's cost of someone getting hurt or injured. So you got to make sure that you're staying safe. There's cost to buy the safety equipment, because that's why it is so important that we do this. So don't skip out on those costs. That's the reason why I tell you to charge $8 to $12 a foot for Christmas lights, and 45 cents to 60 cents for roof cleaning, and 30 cents for house washing, because I want you to be in the profitable zone and also be in the safe zone, right? I want to make sure you have the proper insurance. I want to make sure you have the proper workers' comp, and not trying to skim out and go cheap because, I couldn't make enough money. Well, raise your prices. A lot of you need, here's the thing. Everything has gone up in 2024. If you haven't felt that everything gone up, but a lot of you are still charging prices of 2015. And you wonder why you're broke, and you wonder why you can't make no money. It's because you're still charging prices of 2014, 15. Oh, but Jason, you just don't understand. You can't get that in my area. And I say bullcrap. I say raise your prices and start believing in yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else is. When you go to someone's house and you're like, Jason said $8, $12, I'm not worth $8, $12, you will never get it. I promise you, you will never, ever get it if you go with that attitude. But if you go with an attitude that I'm worth it, I have this workers' comp, I have all of my stuff, we are professional, we have professional shirts, we do everything professional, then I guarantee you, when you have that confidence and that customer knows you have that confidence, they will buy from you every time. And that's the important part about it. It's not about, you're just trying to, no, I'm not. I'm trying to make you all successful. And if you can't see that, then I don't know what else to tell you. But you've got to start getting out of this mind frame that you're charging 2015 prices. You're charging 2020 prices, 2023 prices. Because in the last year, everything has went up. And if you don't believe me, go check your restaurants out there right now. Go buy what you bought this year versus last year and tell me how much more you're going to pay for the exact same thing. Actually, it's probably not the exact same thing because they've made it smaller and littler and raised the prices. And so when you go with this attitude of, oh, you just don't understand, Jason, I'm going with the attitude of, no, you don't understand your business. And when you don't understand your business, you're going to go out of business because you're going to fall off the roof and you're not going to be able to come back out of it. You're going to do something and the truck's going to break and you ain't got the money to fix that truck. So that's why I tell you to charge what you need to charge. Tripping. Let's see. Again, I did put some the GoFundMes of both of them up there. If you all would like to donate, I know they would appreciate it very much. I almost fell by leaning against a tree. The big branch snapped. You know, trees always scared the living crap out of me because they're not flat. And the ladder likes to go like this. One time we did Buskin Bakery, and it's up in Norwood, Ohio, or not Norwood, it's, I can't think of it. It starts with an H. Hyde Park. And we did this big tree, and they wanted to do all the different colors. So we used the Lightorama box, and each limb had its own color. And half this limb went out, and we had to take the 40-foot ladder all the way extended out and put up there because this freaking squirrel ate our line. So we had climbed up this tree, and we had to replace it. I actually didn't do it. My brother, Crazy Bill TV, he did it because he's crazy. So you got to have a little crazy to be able to do that. My crazy ain't that crazy. I was like, I ain't no way I'm getting up in that stupid tree. And the way we put all the lights up in the first place was through a lift, and we had already gotten rid of the lift. Always be aware of stuff on a roof: hoses, power lines, chimneys, skylights, roof dormers when raising your head, roof vents, gutters, and any cables or wires that run through them. And always have a plan. Try to have, I always say to have a fall plan. Like, if I'm going to fall, I'm going to go for that chimney, or I'm going to go for that ladder, or I'm going to go for that dryer vent, right? But yes, that's why you never want to walk backwards on a roof, and you're always walking straight, so that way you can see what you're stepping on, because what you're stepping on could be a skylight that's going to send you right down to their kitchen table, and they're not going to like you sitting next to their kitchen table when you fall through the skylight. And yes, that has happened. And yes, he didn't make it. We just had a guy last year fall off a ladder and broke his collarbone. If you're getting roofs, they make an attachment that makes the transition from ladders to roof safer. That is a dangerous transition. They're actually, if you're the ones I'm thinking of, they're like orange handles that you can actually walk up and over and hang on to those handles is another way. I don't actually have those on there, but I need to put them on there because you're right on that. That is definitely something that you can do with them. That's why we don't clean gutters for $100. You're exactly right. That's why you should be charging $300 to clean gutters. And I know people are like, you're crazy, Jason, but it's true, and you can get it. Rick Moosey gets it. You can get it. I hate getting on two-story roofs. I typically put an anchor in the trip up and tie off without always makes me nervous. Yep. Hospital bills are a lot, period. You're right. Look up. A couple window cleaners recently died when their poles hit the power line. Just bought some equipment to start a side business, pressure washing, yesterday. I'm beyond excited for entrepreneurship. I work full-time as a firefighter. North Florida. What part of Florida are you in up there? I was a full-time firefighter for 13 years, and when I about fell off the roof, I was a firefighter. So just be careful up there. That's what I'm going to say about that. That's the second Little Giant spill I have seen this week. Yeah. What's your thoughts on gutter vacuums, and what brand would you recommend? I think They have their point, but a lot of times when it's wet, they don't work worth a crap. If you are looking for one for sale, he'll probably sell it to you for a great deal. I don't think he sold it yet. Look up Rick Moosey out of for veterans exteriors out of Syracuse, New York. He has one, and he would probably sell it to you for half price. So I know he bought it and never used it. Hello from New Zealand, all the way around the world, people. It's awesome. Face that ladder and use 3 points of contact. There is a good leveler kit that comes with rubber feet and metal cleats too. I had a spinal fusion, 2 rods, 8 screws, and nerve repair surgery. I'm still disabled. That just sounds painful, F-bomb. That sounds real painful. I use stacks and extension ladders. Yep. You think there is a grip spray I could put on my ladder spraying these decks with oil stains that get so slick as ice quick? Yeah, and that's another thing too is you don't want to use ladders on decks. We did a deck. I don't know if I got pictures of that deck. I did a deck that we were in Indiana. It was a house, and we were stripping the house. And as I was stripping the house, I had the ladder, and the boards were going this way. I was putting the sodium hydroxide on it, and I was stripping it. I was getting up on there, and you have to put a little pressure on it. And as I came around the house, when the boards went with my thing, the ladder slid out from underneath of me. And luckily, there was a big hot tub about 5 feet away. So I dropped 5 feet, going boom, 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 5 feet down. And yeah, so you got to be careful out there. Like I say, I'm not saying I've never done anything stupid, because I've done my share of stupidness. And a lot of times the reason why I tell you all what not to do is because I did it. And so I don't want you all to get hurt. So that is why I go out there and tell you what not to do, because that's how I teach. Because like I say, a lot of this, I have done stupid stuff, and I've almost gotten hurt before, and I don't want you to get hurt, because again, hospital bills are expensive. And hospital bills are expensive. They cost you a lot if you're not careful. So the one thing when I was doing the roof, when I was doing Christmas lights, when I first started, I didn't get on too many roofs because I was scared to get on roofs. We did 40 jobs, and I laddered 39 of them because I was too scared to get up on the roofs at first, because I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't have cougar paws. And originally I did buy some cougar paws, but even then I was still scared of it. So, and yes, I was a full-time fireman, but fireman is different than getting on a roof. Getting on a roof with a ladder and the hooks is completely different than getting on a ladder without the hooks. It's not even close to being the same. If you think it is not the close of being the same. So make sure that you're staying safe out there. I'm trying to see if I can find that house that I did in India. It was up in Indiana. I got a lot of pictures. A lot of pictures. I can't find it. But yeah, so make sure you're staying safe out there. The one thing you could do is if you could get like golf shoes or something with the nails in them. I don't know. It might mess the decks up. Would be the only problem. Over here, now most construction sites only allow platform ladders, nothing else allowed. Also, IWCA has a good ladder safety course. It's a good idea to take an annual refresher. Yes. Sorry to hear this. Stay safe, people. and make your guys watch the videos too. And it's not just watch the videos, make sure that you give them a test or something, so then that way you can do a check sheet, and then that check sheet can say, because here's the thing, just because you teach them how to do it doesn't mean that they're going to do it in person when you're not there. So it's best to have them watch it, actually perform the task, and then have them write down or sign a sheet of paper that they did it. So then that way, if something does happen, then at least you can say that you taught them and you gave them all the right equipment. If they didn't use the right equipment, that is their fault. I'd rather be on ropes than ladders. A pressure washing business near me has a dedicated rig just for roof climbing, a bucket truck. Yep. I am not catching anyone now. I only do gutters on one-story houses. If you got employees, go get an LLC or a C corp, and I'd agree with this 100%, because this, and make sure you have workers comp and everything else that you need. But if you have employees, if you have an LLC, and this is where, if you have an LLC but it's still muddy waters of your bank accounts are still the same and your insurance is still the same, you need it completely separate, right? Your insurance is separate than your other insurance. Your bank accounts ain't your personal bank accounts. They're actual business accounts. So if something happens, they can only get what the business has and not any of your assets. If you have a house, if you have 457, 401s, different things, if you don't have it in an LLC in its own business, they can actually come after you, and that's why you want to make sure that you have it also. One thing I beat no one does is ladder inspections. This is important because if a rung is dented, if the ladder, it looks like a dog leg, looks like a U because it's fallen over, get rid of it. If it has a bad leg, get rid of that ladder. It's not worth the $200 or $300 to go replace that ladder, is to put that ladder up and to do it. A lot of times the lanyards go bad, replace them, right? These are simple things that you can do to keep your stuff in working order, so that way everything is top notch. So that way you're not trying to, oh, wow, I'm going to get by, because that's when people get hurt. I check mine. I'm safety Nazi when it comes to ladder. It's a good too, because it is very important. Who has the best rates for workers' comp? This is going to depend on your state. When I was in Kentucky, it was like 20 grand to get freakers worker comp. When I moved my whole business over to Ohio, it was just part of the state, and then it was just pay as you go, and how much ever you pay is how much you go. So a lot of this is going to depend on your state and where you are and how they do the workers comp. The leveler kits are great. I used to do sketchy stuff my first year, and that's not good. That's a way to fall off and hurt yourself. Check your local insurance for rates. I do $4 a foot on gutters, minimum $299. Speaking of shirts, who do you recommend for bleach resistant shirts? There's a couple places. I use Queensboro. They're the cheapest. You can get them for pretty much next to nothing. Total 360 is another one. There's a couple other guys. There's a couple I probably wouldn't use. If I didn't mention them, I wouldn't use them. And there's some big names out there that I wouldn't use because their name has a number in it and it takes that many months to get them. So I'm just saying, I wouldn't use them. I would, like I say, Total 360 is one. I can't think of his name. If you message, I can see if I can send you a message, Lee, and get it to you. Ladder creaks, chips, bents, broken blocks, rubber foot stops, welds, rungs. And the other thing too is if you ever have a ladder that just so happens that didn't get tied down, and next thing you know, you look in your mirror and you see something going sliding across the interstate, just get a new one. I'm just saying, not that I've ever seen that happen. I have. Just get a new one. That's the easiest way to take care of that. I am booked out a month. Prices are raised so high right now. I am so excited when they say yes. It makes you reevaluate your regular prices. You know, the thing about this is too is Jeremy, and I love it because you're right. Um, right? Because that means if you're booked out a month, that means you still can raise your prices. So that is another thing that you can think about because if you're booked out a month, you're going to lose people because you're booked out a month. So that means you can raise your prices even more. And I know you're doing a lot of decks, so I'm hoping you're charging probably $8 a foot just for deck cleaning and sealing decks. If you're not there, I would get there. My buddy and I believe he's between $8 and $10 a foot right now to clean and seal decks. So it's definitely there's a lot of money in those deck cleaning and sealings. I've been down all week with shingles virus. Ooh, that sucks. I hope you get better. I pray you get better. Are they just on one side of your chest, or I actually knew a guy had them on his head, and they were messed. That really messed him up. They were bad. Nothing like stabbing pain in your face for 4 straight days. Ugh, that's terrible. Those suck. I just had a talk with my guy I paint with recently. You could say I've been working for him because he gets the jobs, but we tag team them, and I just had to raise the prices. Talk with him. Yep. When you don't understand your or know your numbers and value and charge accordingly, you will go broke and work yourself out of business. Say that louder. When you raise your prices, you will become a better salesperson, marketing, and company. I said if he didn't, I would do it on my own thing, so now we split the jobs 50-50 and charge more. I've been struggling to get the phone to ring, and I'm not being a scammer on the other end. Yeah, you're not the only one. Um, I know a lot of people have slowed down, and it always happens. I preach it from the day one that June, July, and August are slow. Um, it's people are going out of town. They're spending a lot of money on vacation, and they're not at home. And that's what happens. So it is definitely something. Crazy Bill is crazy. The things he does in his boats. Yep, he's done. If you all been know where Sunset Falls is, he's actually went over Sunset Falls. There's a video of it. Um, yeah, crazy, crazy. Tuck and roll, baby, when you're falling. I've been watching your videos this week. I'm in Fort Worth, but I'm trying to get to your level. You want to know how you get to his level? You want to know the secret? I'll tell you the secret. Who all wants to know the secret of how to get to Tristan's level? If you want to get to Tristan's level, who wants to know the secret? I'll tell you the secret. I'm going to tell his secret right now. So if you want to get to Tristan's level, this is Tristan here. He's just a little young guy here. He's 24 years old. He's getting ready to buy his third apartment complex. Um, who wants to learn? You want to know Tristan's secret? I'll tell you Tristan's secret. Tristan joined King of Pressure Wash. King of Pressure Wash. He joined kingofpressurewash.com. He's a member, and he shows up every Monday night. And you got people like Tristan that shows up every Monday night. You got people like Dan Maddox that's going to do $1 million this year that's showing up every night. Or every Monday night. You've got people like who else is in there that's success? There's a bunch of guys. There's about 20 to 25 people that show up every Monday night because they join King of Pressure Wash, and Tristan comes and asks questions. You know, Tristan was one that I've been saying, you need to join the apartment association. You need to join this apartment association. Well, about 2 years later, he finally joined the apartment association, and he's killing it cleaning these apartments. And getting a crap ton of commercial work because he finally joined the apartment association. But you get around like-minded people, and that's what happens to you, and you're able to grow your business. And if you're on the Christmas light side, you need to show up to Utah this week and get around very successful people people that do 2,000 jobs or more, people that do over $1 million in Christmas lights. You go to christmaslights.io/a for advanced class, or for awesome. And it's Wednesday, Thursday, or Thursday, Friday is advanced Christmas lights, and then Saturday is permanent lighting. If you don't want to do permanent lighting, the 2 days of the other two, I guarantee you, you will learn enough there that you will 10x your money. You will probably 100x your money. And so that's why you need to come. There's only a few seats left. You need to join, get there, do whatever you need to do to get there so you can become a little Tristan. And Tristan should be coming, but he's got some baseball thing or something. He said, I don't know what he's got, but he ain't. He said he can't make it, so he should be there. Man, how do you even pay off a $140,000 hospital bill like eating an elephant? $20 at a time. It's just going to take a whole lot of $20. A whole lot of $20, for sure. But yeah, that's what you got to do. Some people fall off their trucks and hurt their ankles, like my little buddy DJ did. And if you come to Utah, you'll get to meet DJ. That right there is worth the money. I don't know if it really is or not. DJ's a pretty cool dude, though. Just west of Jacksonville. Oh, you're over there on that coast. Gotcha. Love my little giant. What do you think about extensions on the pressure washer to blast out the 2-story gutters? It ain't a bad thing. I know some people that do that. They have the little double thing and they spray both ways in that way. But a lot of times, man, you make a mess with that stuff. That's the only problem with that. Hey, my guys, Maddie from New Zealand. We got New Zealand. We got people from all over the world. Does anyone know where I could rent a surface cleaner with a water collection vacuum? I don't know. I don't know where you're located at. Any commercial trade workers here now has to be qualified in height safety to work off of ladders and heights. Protects us all. Might be an option. But I do see a lot breaking the rules too. Common sense. You know, the problem with common sense is not so common anymore. So yeah, I agree. Common sense goes a long ways. Don't do sketchy stuff is the biggest common sense. I'm that guy that's been there, done that, seen it, and or been it. Do they make pants that have cougar paw material on the butt? That would be a great idea. They actually do. That's not. I don't know if it's the pad. It's more of a rubber. That it is. But they do make pants that have that are sticky, that help hold you to the roof. After that speech, my minimum gutter clean has gone up to $500. Mr. Rich, what did he have here? My computer. Let's see, Rich. Where did Rich go at? There he is. The angle of a ladder spot is important too. Yes, you want to be at 75 degrees is where you want to be at. You should be able to extend your arms out, standing at the bottom of the rung, and grab the ladder, shoulder height, extended straight, standing up straight. So what he's saying is you want that ladder angle at 75 degrees. So when you raise your hands out and you're standing at the bottom of the ladder and you raise your hand out, you want that rung between your hand. If it's too far here, it's too steep. If it's too here, actually, if it's too this far, it's too laying down too much like this. And if it's not here, it's too steep. You can either put your feet at the bottom of the ladder or just stand on the first rung, stand straight up, put your hands out, and that rung should be somewhere between that ladder. And that's a great way to know that if you're at that 75-degree angle is what you want it to be. Your health is your wealth. It is for sure. Make sure that you are taking care of it. Again, it is definitely something very important. I've been doing 75 hard. We're 18 days in. It's been kicking my butt, but that's all right. I need it. But you know what? You feel a lot better, honestly, when you're done. Take care, man. Do you mean $8 a linear foot for decks or square foot? Square foot. When you're cleaning and sealing, it's $8 a square foot is what you're doing. So if you got 1,000 square foot, it's $8,000. I offered summer packages for my commercial clients, and I'm busy this summer. Also, the pivot ladder tool is great for creating level surfaces for your ladder. Just bought 2 of them. Another good thing too is they have a thing that you can clamp onto the gutter that will clamp onto your ladder, and that can also help keep that ladder from falling over too. They're not that expensive, and it's like a big clamp that clamps onto your ladder and then clamps onto the gutter. So it's just a way to help hold that to the ladder also. I do. I've been watching you and helping you to answer comments for roughly 4 years. That's crazy. And I still never met you in person. Not that I know of. I might have, but multifamily convention going to. Oh, that's what you're going to. Next Christmas light class. How can I sign up for the apartment association? What are the steps that are required for me to sign up? Pretty simple. Here, I'll show you how easy it is to sign up. Because I want to just show you so that way you can't say I never taught you anything. So you're just going to look up your local apartment association. Local apartment association. If I could spell. Luckily it here. So this is mine, the Greater Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky. You're going to click on it. You're going to look around here, acknowledge. So we want to join here, and we can find out about the membership. So the association, associate member. There's one for, is your company a member? Memberships are company based. So basically, when you come in here, you join associate, and I believe it's like $800 to $1,000, and that's all you got to do. So that's what you got to do. Here, I'm a vendor supplier. I was wrong. So the good thing about being a vendor or supplier, you will get the member directory listing. So you will get all the emails and phone numbers. You can do the networking and business events. This is huge. If you're not doing this, you should be doing this. And I'll see if, well, maybe some of them you should, some of them you shouldn't do. But like this one, they're doing a BB Riverbrook cruise. You're going to go and meet people. This is a great thing to go meet people and eat dinner and find out people, all that kind of stuff. Experts, you can go take some of their classes. The fall golf outing, the 301, right? There's all kinds of things that you can do that will help you get more business. There's some that's not so much, but there's other ones that you will definitely get a lot. Maintenance for managers, right? Hey, that means you're going to see all the managers there. So that means yes, it's probably going to be boring, but that's something that you can do to do it. You can also do the trade show, which is something that you can do. And then they also had a reverse dating thing where you actually got to meet. So these are all things that you can do with that resource right here. So this is the Cincinnati one. Wherever you're at, you can look it up and you can find out what it is that you are there. So that's how you do this here for the Christmas lights. 4-to-1 ladder rule for every 4 feet should be 1 foot out, 75 degrees. My motto is, if it don't feel safe, run. That's a good motto. Don't do it, right? How do you pay off $140,000 hospital bills? Lawsuit. I got on a job, long story short, got into a fight with the owner. I fell through a plastic skylight shed roof and banged up my ribs 2 weeks ago. No hospital visit, but still, they're stupid for an old man. I would agree. This is like grandpa right here. If you don't know, he's like 63 years old, 64 years old. So don't tell me you're too old to do something. Have you tried ladder hooks, the ones that hook to the gutters? The action I'm taking tonight is replacing the lanyard on my 28 foot. Good. Are you selling the deck with a pump sprayer? Are you sealing the deck with a pump sprayer? Actually, we used a painter sprayer is how we did them. That's how we did them. You can rent them. The one we bought was like $700-800, but that's how I did them. If you do a class near me, we can use my tiny truck for class, and then you can actually meet for lunch. I use airless sprayer. Yep, that's exactly what we used. If you want to learn how to stain, look up Steel Stain. Caleb is a great teacher like Jason. Again, if you want to grow your Christmas light business and want to take it to the next level, if you've done $30,000-50,000 this year and last year in Christmas lights, but you want to do $500,000 or $1 million or see how things are, you definitely want to go check out christmaslights.io/a. It will help you. We got some great speakers that are going to be speaking on how to get employees, how to do all kinds of amazing stuff out there. So go check it out. Also, if you want to learn more about pressure washing, I do have all my dates up for my King of Pressure Wash. If you go to KPW Train, it will give you all of that there. Why did that mute? Movie audio mute. Oh, that's because that's something else. But other than that, I hope you all have a great week this week. It is the middle of June. It's hot outside. Make sure the other safety part of this is don't get overheated. I think it's going to be close to in the 90s all this week here, so I know it's hot, so make sure that you don't get overheated. Make sure you drink lots of fluids, and if you get hot, go get in the air conditioning, because the last thing you do is need to get overheated. But other than that, I hope you all have a great week, and we'll see you all later.